What's good? What's good? So, did. Okay, I'm definitely going the wrong way. Alrighty. Let me get out the way. Can't really focus in on that, huh? Let me pull that back some. Alright. Alright, there we go. So, this is a question that needs to be answered. There are many who debate the representative's standing of whether to be pro se or pro per. Okay. So I asked myself, and then I asked Wikipedia, right? Who is considered the most powerful person in the courtroom? Who is considered the most powerful person in the courtroom? And the answer that I received was the prosecutor. It says prosecutors are the most powerful officials in the American criminal justice system. The decisions they make, particularly the charging and plea bargaining decisions, control the operation of the system and often predetermine the outcome of criminal cases. And so, with that, I deduced that in order to have standing in a commercial accusation of debt obligations, it's a criminal case, you must stand as the liable party, the surety. So then you have people say, oh no, you know what? This means improper person. Right? I hear a lot of people speak about that and say, hey, you know what? I'm in propria persona. That's cool. But what I find odd is that the majority of people who play pro per also argue that they're not a person. I'm not saying all, but I'm saying that many of the people that I'm aware of that say that they would rather be in propria persona rather than pro se, they will also often tell you they're not a person, right? Which, I mean, they're not a person, but they don't express that they have a person. And that's the issue. Thanks for the love. So, what does... Oh, well, I already put it there. What does pro per mean? It means one's proper person. Okay, so what does pro se mean? One's proper self. Now, just for the sake of the Moorish American information that was given to us by Drew Ali, Drew Ali tells us that we have two what? Well, selves is plural for self. Now, to be in one's proper person, you have to be the creditor and the debtor. You have to have both of these, because if you're found to be guilty, then that's what's going to take place. Plus, debits equal credits, right? The debtor, the defendant, is to be represented by a person who is over it and really attached to it as the creditor or the surety, right? So, break this down. I tell people, in all honesty, pro per and pro se are the same thing. Yes, there will be some who will say, no, that's not true. And so be it. I'm not going to argue with you. So, according to the Moorish literature, you have two selves. Your lower self, which you must submit, and your higher self, which redeems. You have two selves. You stand between yourselves in the middle, right? We often hear, or we growing up, if you will, we've often seen the angel devil play. It's just debtor creditor, right? Debitor creditor. Understand that a debtor person or debtor self equals the creditor person or the creditor self. This is the U.S. stateless citizen. This is the birth certificate. This is the ens legis on paper that's only there to establish information in regards to the estate. That's its only purpose. It's to hold something for you. The debtor is the one who owes. The creditor is the one who is owed. So now in court, I will leave that up there. In court, you have the defendant and you have the prosecutor. Right? The defendant has legal representation because the defendant cannot speak for itself. The prosecutor speaks for, we'll just say, the aggrieved. This is saying that you owe someone or something. A duty, an obligation to pay or to perform in some kind of way. This side is saying that this side owes this side. This is the individual, we'll call this the complainant, who's being represented by the prosecutor who makes the claim. The claim is against the defendant. So who made the real move? The prosecutor. So now, since debits equal credits, right, there has to be what we've termed redemption or revenuing, right? There has to be an exchange. One is output, one is input, right? Cause and effect, right? Equal and opposite, right? So now how do we turn this, if you come in as the defendant, right? How do we work this out if we feel like we're the ones who are aggrieved? You have to change the circumstances. You have to mirror the creditor side. So now what you have which does not have more power than the creditor. You now have to be pro se cutor. You have to now act as the prosecutor. Because the prosecutor is the one who brings the claim. If you have a claim that needs to be made and placed on the record, this is the way that you speak. This is your proper person, your proper self. Because now you're coming back with a counter claim in the court. This is what your lawyer or your attorney should do for you, but most don't. And when you know the law, you abide by it. By abiding by the law, you are thus enforcing. So now you're a law enforcer. Now you bring your claims into court, right? This is you now. Let me do it this way. So now you're bringing your counterclaim in. You're mirroring. You're reflecting. So now everyone over here is now. No, that's not even the right word. Yeah. They are now respondents. They just like they're waiting for you to respond, they're waiting for you to answer up. Now they have to answer up because now you, who is over here, now you are the prosecutor. And so, just to show you, right? Because we don't learn by being told. We learn best by seeing and experiencing, right? At least I know I do. Okay, so. So now, what's that? I thought that man thought he wanted some. Okay. So now, up here, this is the person. This is the self, the debtor self, right? That the charges are placed against. This is the account that's being charged. And they're drawing, they're pulling, they're withdrawing out of this account stating that, hey, they're withdrawing out of this account stating that, hey, you owe. That's what they're saying. They're saying, hey, this is you, right? When you step in as the defendant and you have someone else representing you, right? Or you have someone who's a part of their group representing you. Let me put it that way, right? When you have someone in the public and not a private representative, there you go, right? you're acting as this. This can't talk. This is a person. This is a self. That self has to be secured. And so now that self is down here acting as what? The prosecutor. This is pro se. This means that you can now speak because you have distinguished your two selves. This one doesn't do anything but what it's told to do. This tells what to do. This is the prosecutor. Excuse me. This is your prosecutor. So now, when you draw up your counterclaim, you're bringing in charges. Now you're giving them a bill. Here's my bill. Now they got to answer up to those charges the same way that they're trying to get you in this status to operate. This is the auditing side. You must audit them. Prosecutor. Why not be the prosecutor? The prosecutor or the prosecutor, the for self active force, right? Where was I going? Yeah. The prosecutor is the highest, is the most powerful person or self when you're dealing with courts and banks, because they're the same. So what would the prosecutor be in relation to a bank? It's the creditor. I'm the creditor. This is my account. This is my account. Someone went to the bank to see the clerk. They went to see the head clerk and they said, hey, this account owes me. And they drew from it. They're drawing from it. They're billing you for service, some type of service rendered or some type of breach. That's the teller. So if you were to walk into a bank, all right, you got a message talking about, you owe X amount of money and we've withdrawn X amount of money from your account. And you need to show up for whatever reason, right? So now you got to go down there and answer up to this. I would go. Somebody said I owed them and they just hit my account. They just drew my account without my say so, without my consent, without what we say jurisdiction. All right? There's no consent whatsoever. I'm going to come and now I'm going to file a counterclaim. So I need all of my stuff given back to me. And because the law is such a wonderful double-edged sword, everything that you tried to do to me or get from me needs to be disgorged. Run mine back. But you're only going to be able to get that and act in that capacity it's only going to work if you state the truth on the record, for the record, and let the record of account, because that's what it is, and let the record reflect. And let the record of account reflect the true statement. You see that word statement? Statement. statesman. You must state the truth. What is the truth? That you're the statesman. That you're the secured person. That you are free, you are free from undue liability. You're saying, I'm the liable party. Or in other instances, I'm the equitable, because it's in the heart, right? I'm the equitable owner. I'm the title holder in due course. Everything that's on this, I know what this is. I have equitable ownership in this person. You must state the truth. Appreciate you all for coming and showing me love. Absolutely. Let me see. Defendant is the preferred position. Okay, so let me answer that. I don't agree with it, but I'm not going to argue with you, right? I'm just going to put up what I can put up there, right? What I understand, right? There are only two kinds of judgments. There is the creditor judgment and the debtor judgment. This is the defendant. The debtor is the defendant. The debtor is the one that owes something. So unless you are unless you owe somebody, I wouldn't stand as the debtor. But the comment was, let me see, let me go back. What was the comment? Why are y'all people so thirsty to go into court and argue with these people? So I'm not arguing. I don't teach arguing at all. So you can go ahead and just ride with that. We don't teach arguing here, right? As a matter of fact, I just said that you go into the court and you just state the truth, right? So I wouldn't go in there arguing anything, because to argue is to create the controversy. I'll stipulate to all the facts. I'll accept upon condition or upon consideration that you show me all the evidence that is required. Why are y'all people so thirsty? Why are people like yourself so worried about what other people are doing instead of just worrying about what you need to be doing? You're supposed to be saving yourself. I hope you heard that. Okay, so this is from Michael Kenyon. Defendant is the preferred position even after judgment. So, I don't know how you figured that out, or I don't understand how that would even, the debtor is the preferred? Preferred for who? Preferred for who? Right, no, argue doesn't mean to make clear. Argue doesn't mean to make clear. That's not, to argue means to push back. If we're fighting, this is the argument, bro. It doesn't mean to make clear. When you argue, you give credibility. You give rise to the jurisdiction. You create the controversy. You create it. Yes, debtor is the position of the one who owes. So if you owe, that is the position. It's not really about good or bad. You know what I'm saying? It's about integrity. You know what I'm saying? It's about honesty, real character. You know what I mean? If you owe, pay like you owe. But if you don't owe, fuck I look like paying for? As a matter of fact, since you dragged me in here and wasted my time, the taxpayers' money, and the court's time as well, run mine in. I deal with etymology. Yeah, I hear you with all that etymology, and I appreciate that. That's appreciated. I'm so from right now, I'm not dealing with that. Right? I'm not going. I'm keeping it extremely basic. I'm trying my best to give it to a 7-year-old. To some degree, I'm trying to speak to a 7-year-old mind here to make this as plain and as clear as necessary, so that the people who take it in have a solid foundation. If you have a solid foundation, you don't have to go in there arguing state statutes and codes, right? You would understand that that's up to the word nerd called the judge or the clerk. If I were to say, I wish for this to stop, right? And the 7-year-old is in the courtroom, he's going to understand that I wish for whatever's going on to stop. Now, it's the judge's job to interpret that as cease and desist. Jesus didn't go, he didn't go to court arguing anything. Jesus just said what it was. I'm the creditor. And he forgave him. He said, do what you will. In 3 days after being in quote unquote debtor's prison, hell, right? He was redeemed in the private. That's why he's not seen again, He was placed on the, so you don't need to state statutes, right? Absolutely. But there are people who go in there and tell you, use this, use that. And if you're going to use it, but know why you're using it. Because a lot of people that I'm aware of, they take the information without doing their own due diligence. And then whatever happened for the individual that gave the information may not happen to the person who received it. Because the person who gave the information would have done their due diligence and understood how to stand on that information. Yeah. So check. Yeah. Everything is presumptions, right? And these courts must rebut, right? I hear a lot of people say, oh man, don't deal with assumptions. I hear that. I understand that. But it's all on presumptions, right? And in criminal cases, in a criminal action, the accused, because I'm not going to call it the defendant, the accused is presumed innocent until proven guilty. You want to see me take the dress off? Innocent is the creditor. The guilty is the debtor. Now, mind you, right? The defendant is always guilty. But you're presumed the creditor unless and until you allow this to take way. You're presumed innocent. Act like it. Act like it. I object to these proceedings. In all honesty, I'm not arguing. I'm just stating, I object. What's that? A demur. I object. I don't recognize anyone in the court. There's many things that you can say to express yourself, right? Innocence is creditorship. It means you're white, you're pure, you're clean, you're unblemished. Your status, right, is recognized. It's in full life. Or civiliter vivus, right? The defendant is civiliter mortus. This is no light. This has no standing. This personality, this self, cannot even defend itself. The creditor is the knight that defends the weak, the downtrodden, those who cannot defend themselves. Right? So you are presumed innocent, right? That's an assumption. Well, I'm not going to correct anybody. I'm not going to say I'm not innocent. The defendant is always guilty, whoever the debtor is. If you win your case against the prosecution, they become this. They become the defendant. They become the debtor. They're guilty. They are the ones guilty. Guilty of what? Uttering forged instruments, so that's bearing false witness. Malicious prosecution, that's coveting, and all the other colorable law and injustices. They're guilty of that. And since it's criminal, that means it's commercial. It's all about money. So they owe. This is a commercial transaction. This is a record of account at a bank. Pro se or pro per. So I've gathered from studying other individuals' information, particularly Noble Drew Ali, that the system that we're dealing with swings open, right? And that justice is a double-edged sword. You dig? It's a scimitar, meaning that it'll cut over here or over here, depending on who needs to be cut. Right? So that means that all the processes are already there. I've never seen court paperwork, filings, whatever, that have pro per on it, unless an individual made it. I've seen pro se. I know that pro se is a part of the process. It's a part of the procedure. If pro se was not, there'd be no prosecutor. I don't hear anyone walking in talking about I'm the pro-percutor. And again, there are those who feel the way that they feel, and that is perfectly fine. Again, I'm not here to cause any controversy. Lakum dinukum waliyadin. To you be your way, and to me be my own. I wish you nothing but the best. Right? I'm only going based off of what I understand, overstand, and understand. And I'm always open to correction. Always. Because my intent is not to be, my intention is to always, in all matters, be right. Even if that means being corrected so that now I know that I am right because I was once wrong. That's how I get down. Let me see. Your paperwork. Right. Your paperwork is to precede you. Right. So you would go into court and so I'll put pro se plaintiff. Pro se plaintiff litigant. That's what I write on mine. All right. I prefer those words. Right. So you file your motions, your petitions. I hear a lot of people say, don't file motions or petitions. Okay, so when you take the paperwork that says motion or petition, you write affidavit. You write writ of, whatever. The forms are there. They're there. You're contracting. You know that you can cross things out and place the thing. You know what I mean? And you're contracting, right? But what I'm saying is, it's already there. It's already ready already. And a lot of people, they're just doing whatever processes they deem beneficial for themselves, which is fine. But then they're out here selling this information and telling people this is the way. And people are just, it's like getting lost in a crowd. You just had a beeline, boom. And then all this other stuff come in and now you can't even see. your destination, because they've got all of these processes and procedures and do this and do that and whatnot, when the simplest way is to just go straight at it, right? If you try and stab me in the heart, I wouldn't imagine you coming from this side trying to stab down, or coming from the back trying to, no, just nigga, yeah, right? Just saying. In American law, mind you, the prosecutor is the most powerful character in the courtroom. Not the pros, not the pro per, right? Not the sui juris or sui juris, right? And those are all fine. But prosecutor, right? Just for your mental. Right? Prosecutor. Do you not see the mirror? Do you not see the mirror? P-R-O-S-E? P-R-O-S-E. Cute. That's the proper standing. The prosecutor is acting as the creditor. They're saying, hey, I'm the liable party, or hey, I'm the equitable owner. That's what they're saying. Well, that's what you're supposed to be saying if, in fact, that is the truth, that you are the creditor, the liable party, the equitable owner. You know? Assets equal liabilities and equity. Assets is what you have. This whole this person holds assets, and I'm holding this person, which means that the person holding the assets is holding it for me. This is me. Assets equal, so there has to be an equal value on the other side. Assets equals liability and equity. Let me show you all that. You know, I love to use the cross because Jesus was on it. You know what I mean? The very first equation that I learned when I began studying accounting, and they beat it in my head. Debits always equals credits. If trying to understand, I'm trying to figure. Well, all right. So if the debits do not equal credits, this account cannot be satisfied. The record cannot be completed. So for whatever happens on one side, it has to happen on the other side. Most people go into court only dealing with this side. This is called single book entry. Single entry bookkeeping. You're a bookkeeper. You're keeping a record of an account of your personal and your real estate accounts as one. Right? So If somebody over here, if there's cash over here, there has to be somebody over here who's expecting the cash. If there's dividends over here, there has to be somebody over there possibly waiting around for some type of owner's equity. You know? If there's expenses going out, there has to be some compensation to go back in. If I put out energy, what's my input? What did I get from it? But hold on, I done did all of that. Some people leave this part undone, but I'll never do that because I understand better now. Mind you, this is part of right? To be balanced, right, means to be level, right? That's justice. Justice is the level. You're in harmony. You dig? There's nothing. You're in perfect harmony. This is the balance sheet. This is the balancing scales from my Ma'atan and Egyptian practitioners. This is the cross of Christ for my Christians. All right? Boom. So we all know that revenue means money, right? So expenses means money going out. And revenue means money being exchanged and brought back for an equal or greater value. See what we got up here. Because God was on that cross, He is great in mercy. Absolutely. And that's another thing. You're also the judge. The individual over there sitting up there in the road, he's acting as judge. But you are the true justice in the court. And you must find yourself, as a matter of fact, on the record. Justice must be made a part of every part. This is justice. This part and this part makes up every part of that part. If this were a human being on the cross, this would be his heart. We meet the creditor in the heart. So we're dealing with equity, law and equity. Which one is we dealing with? And again, if this is criminal, it's commercial. So we're dealing with UCC. We're dealing with some merchant stuff. Because we buying and selling. There is intercourse. There is an exchange going on here. A financial transaction. That's the word. There's a transaction going on over here. Thank you. I appreciate that, Light Warrior. Right. Your goods don't outweigh your bads. Right. Absolutely. So assets equals liability and equity. That's the next equation. Your assets, cash, financial instruments. It's an asset. It's an asset. And so if I have this asset, if I have a car, then I have liability if in the event that someone fuck my shit up or I fuck their shit up. I have equity in the property. Right? So dealing with property, dealing with the revenue service, right? If I have a house and my house is unlawfully taken from me, and we have this long drawn out court proceeding, and at the end of the court proceeding, it is found that I was in the right, but during this whole procedure, we'll say the house was sold, all right, and we'll say that the house is worth $100,000. Well, since they can't give me my house, they have to make a way out of no way. They have to give me something of equal intrinsic value. Give me the $100,000 then. If you can't give me back my house and my property's worth $100,000, well then you got to give me something. You can't just say, oh well, you know what? We sold the house. We're sorry. We don't. No, nigga, run mine. That's revenue. That's what you're expecting to get back from whatever you put out. All right. This is your U.S. stateless person. Your stateless self. You have two selves. Right? This is you, your true self. You have this self and this self. You're in between the two. One self holds, one self speaks on behalf. This is the grantor. You dig? This is the beneficiary. This is the trustee. The trustee is one who owes obligation. I have been entrusted with these duties to administrate, right? I act in behalf of, not as, but on behalf of the creditor. That's the beneficiary. That's the secured party. This party secured this party. Notice I'm saying party. Party, person, self. They're the same. All right. Excuse me. They're used interchangeably. All right. The same way that nation, state, and country, they're used interchangeably. All right. This is my secured self. This self secured this self. So now this self stands in front of this self and tells this self, get behind me. I will protect you. When they come together, they make that middle self. I am my claim. This is a claim. My claim is perfected. I've perfected my claim. My claim. What is my claim? It's what I affy to. It's the truth that I speak. Right? This is my claim. You're in claims court here. Excuse me. Right? They're claiming that you owe. They're claiming that they are owed. You're at claims court. I gotta go, but this is good. Appreciate you. It'll be on my YouTube channel, link in bio, man. What is the white paper? I didn't need to do it, but I did it thinking that I needed to do it. So this is an authenticated birth certificate. Okay. You only need to authenticate your birth certificate if you're doing business in a country that does not follow the UCCs. That's why you authenticate your birth certificate. In any country, state, or nation that uses the UCCs, then they have a uniform system, and so this is self-authenticating. It's self-authenticated. So for all of you out there doing that, they're telling you, go authenticate your birth certificate. Do that if you intend to do business in like Taiwan. Because people, and I did it, and I don't feel good about it, right? Because I authenticated this through Taiwan. I'm never going to, I have no intentions to go to Taiwan. You're basically people they're stretching the truth in order to try to get around something, when all you need to do is just go in. I'm not going to do, if I ever need to do business in Taiwan, I'm good now. You see what I'm saying? People are trying to get around something instead of just being what they need to be, you know? Because they have hate in their heart. And when you have hate in your heart, you're blinded. You don't see what truly is, you know? The birth certificate, the U.S. stateless citizen, is a self-authenticating document because it is issued from from your state. Only, and it has your state, like mine says Commonwealth of Pennsylvania on it. That's the state that authorized the estate. And then the Pennsylvania is in union with the other states, and so I'm good everywhere in America. And then because Mexico and South America and whatnot are also on the UCCs, right? They're on the uniform fight. Then I'm good there too. And any United Nations Hague, right, group, I'm good with them too. Because we're all using one uniform system. So it's authenticated. No one else could have given me that but Pennsylvania. And now that I have secured it, right, I can now pass through the ports. Ports are dealing with commerce, trade on the high seas. We're back to that merchant talk. The Roman law teaches that people are born sinners, meaning that they're born debtors. The Roman, and we'll call it what it is for now. The democracy teaches people that you're born. When you're born, you're given this, and that this is you. That's what your democracy is for. It's saying, hey, you're a debtor. You're a sinner. You're born owing somebody. You're born owing. In the Islamic faith, because faith is all about your commerce, right? Your ecclesiastical jurisdiction, authority to do business. In Islam, you're born free. You're born as a creditor. Debt is black. Credit is white. Neither one is good or bad. They're just showing the polarities, right? You know the 7 Hermetic principles is showing the principle of correspondence of polarity. Gender even. And the first one tells you that everything is one. So, in the Islamic faith, we're taught that we're this, but we must answer up and apply to be recognized so that we can distinguish our two persona, one from the other. In business, this is a sole proprietorship. In business, the way I have this set up, I am a religious corporation. My affidavit of religious organization was filed along with that DS-11 form when I filed my affidavit, my declaration of pledge of allegiance. This is what I pledged as collateral. I gave it back to the government. They said, all right, cool. I made the claim and said, hey, I'm him. They said, yeah, you're him. You're in full life now. And you didn't have to do all of those processes and pay all of those people all of that money just to be strung in a circle on that hamster wheel. Nah, you did what your Ali said. You just went straight in. If you do nothing else, let it be known that you stand as the creditor that protects and backs the debtor. They're not separate. Debits equal credits. Credits equal debits. Debits equal credits. They're not separate. Appreciate the share. So are we focused on the status correction to operate UCC correctly? I mean, if that's what you wish to be on, all I'm really showing, when I came in here, I was actually showing how this applies to pro se and pro per as far as court. And because the nature of it all is accounting and financial transactions, then, yes, the UCC applies over here. This is the Roman yoke in law. This is, hey, you're the debtor. This is, hey, you have a debtor and you have a creditor, right? So if you're wrong, you're wrong. And if you're right, you're right. Boom. All right. Let me see it. All right. Oh, I didn't mean to send the invite. Can I cancel that? Possibly not, but it's all good. All right. So Drew Ali was teaching the Moors about the UCCs. He was telling us how to be corporate persons. He was telling us not to act as individuals. He was telling us to secure our resources and our treasuries. Today, this is secured with the U.S. Treasury. He said, leave it in, make sure your money's in the bank. Oh, wow. There's a bank, there's a Federal Reserve Bank. You know what I'm saying? And this is the secured account. This is, according to the Shriners, right? This is the password. Islam, peace, creditor. That grants me access to the oasis. That's what this is. Word. For all you Shriners out there. You can be absent, so that's what it is. Well, you can be whatever it is that you wish to be, right? But nobody can do it all on their own. Appreciate y'all for, oh wow, y'all love, that's what's up, 4.7 thousand. Didn't even know y'all cared. Appreciate y'all for that. You know what I mean? I hope this helps you all. All right? Drew Ali is teaching us about how to do commerce. He's showing us how to own better homes, business enterprises. He was talking about insurance policies, right? He was telling us that we should have our own police stations, our own cities, our own mayors, our own temples, our own land. He told us that the commerce, the gold, and the silver belong to the citizens alone. These are all statements that he was making. He was telling you about business. And just to make sure, because I know that there are people out there who are going to, whatever, say that I'm misquoting or, I don't know what I'm talking about. And that's usually those people, who don't like the truth being told, because then they can't get out on you. 11:11 Islam to that. I'm going to read to you. What Noble Drew Ali told the Moorish Americans what the Moorish Science Temple of America was about. And mind you, Drew Ali was trying to show you how your state government is set up. That was one of the instances that was one of the purposes of the organization, is so that you can understand that the same way that Moorish Science Temple is operated, every other business is operated. Just the same. All right. He wasn't out here trying to bring nothing new. No prophet brings anything new. He was just trying to correct. And Drew Ali told us that the other true American citizens were doing the right thing. That's why he asked them to help him get his people back in line. So Drew ain't bring nothing new. He ain't bring that, we need consular courts. We sold them to Rocco's in America. He ain't bring none of that. I promise you he ain't bring none of that. Because it makes no sense. It does not apply. It does not apply. So you let it fly. But for those who wish to believe it, so be it. That's on them, you know? Again, I ain't here to judge nobody. I'm here to judge myself. All right, let me see. Okay. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to read to you. I'm going to show you where I'm reading from, too. Okay. So, I'm reading from The Moorish Americans' Economic Security Emmanuel, which is a compilation of all of Drew Ali's literature that's in the public, and paying particular attention to his Moorish Guide newspaper articles in which he was instructing everyone who desired to know about what is and what is going on in his movement. So to leave no doubt, you know. And this would be, if you get this off my website, right? This will be number 34 in the Moorish Guide newspaper article section. And it's entitled, The Moorish Science Temple of America. The Moorish Science Temple of America was founded by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Aside from the fact that it is a legally, because you got a lot of people, lawful and legal. Besides the fact that it is a legally organized religious corporation, it is building on human needs. To this desirable end, in time, legitimate means will be found to dispense charity and provide for the mutual assistance of its members in times of distress. So that's Social Security and that's insurance right there. Right there. All right? All right. To aid in the improvement of health and to encourage the ownership of better homes. To find employment for our members. This is why I left the Moorish Science Temple of America as it is today, because ain't none of this popping off in any of them. All right. To teach those fundamental principles which are desired for our civilization, such as, this is for you more South Sit nuts out there, obedience to law, respect and loyalty to government, tolerance and unity. I don't see none of that with none of these Moors out here. They out here bugging. It is most earnestly hoped that the Moorish Science Temple of America will not in any way be confused with any Back to Africa movement. I've seen so much literature where people are trying to say that the Moorish Science Temple of America movement is rooted in black nationalism. Because you got so many knuckleheads out here, you know, saying that they're Moorish Americans or whatever, and then they're going, right, the citizens, up. Okay, hold on. Ed Omerta. Ed Omerta says, not the citizens, not the U.S. citizens. So now I'm going to show you something real quick before I finish that up, because that's something that people need to understand. There are two forms of U.S. citizens. There's two classes. One is stateless. It doesn't have the quality of the state of mind. But it is a U.S. citizen. But then you have the statesman. also known as the national. And yes, it is a U.S. citizen. Because neither of these are the people. Both of these are used for and by the people. The people have the right to be secured in their persons, and therefore the people are not persons. They have persons. And so I have the stateless person, which is the debtor, and I have the statesman person, which is the creditor. I am a citizen of the United States and its territories. See, when we say territories, we're speaking land now, right? Man and land are one, right? You just got so many people who want to. You can't say that you're not a citizen and in the same breath try to say that you have rights upon the land. You can't. It's not happening. It doesn't work that way. So if you're not a U.S. citizen, fine. Right? I'm not a U.S. citizen. I had two of them. I have two characters. I have two roles that I can play in this act. I have two roles. I can act as the stateless. I can act as the one who has to give. And I can act as the statesman, the one who receives. I'm a citizen of the U.S. because I have both of these. Both of these. So for you all, just for y'all to understand, right? Debits and credits equal out. They cancel each other out. They're in union. They balance. There's no awkwardness. They balance out. You're higher in your lower self. So again, I am. I act in the capacity of a U.S. citizen. And at any given time, according to how it best benefits me, because these are to be used to my benefit, I can act in either position. I can act as the trustee or I can act as the beneficiary. Mind you, the stateless one is the beneficiary. Because that's where everything goes into. It benefits from it. It holds it. Hey, I got this. All right. Now, getting back to what I was saying. All right. I just wanted to do my best to point out certain things to certain individuals. Let me finish this up. It is most earnestly hoped that the Moorish Science Temple of America will not in any way be confused with any Back to Africa movement. Such is not important insofar as American citizens of our group colonizing Africa are concerned. So Drew Ali just called Moorish Americans American citizens. For all of you Moorish Americans out there who think that you're not a citizen, if you're not a citizen, then you're not a part of the movement. You're not even a part of the government, because that's the character or the role within the government that one is to play in order to be a part of the act. Okay? We of the Moorish Science Temple of America, like countless other American citizens, so that tells me that Drew Ali is trying to be on the level. He ain't trying to do nothing different. He's trying to get the Moorish Americans back on the same standard as all other true American citizens, right? He says, we of the Moorish Science Temple of America, like countless other American citizens, know that we must live together here in America. So we're not kicking anybody out. We're not arguing, we're the true inhabitants and everybody else got to go. That's not what Drew Ali is saying. He's not saying that. I'm just saying he's not saying that. He says that we must live together here in America in harmony, friendship, and goodwill. Have you met a Moorish American other than myself, right? That comes to you that way? Or do you meet a lot of Moorish Americans who are anti-harmony, anti-friendship, and anti-goodwill, right? Anyway, it says that we're to live here in America together in harmony, friendship, and goodwill, whatever our race and creed may be. So Drew Ali's not out here teaching you that if you're not a part of this race or this creed that you got to go. That's not what's being taught. For all you more soft sits and misguided Muslims, you know what I'm saying? Let me see. I'll do this afterwards. I'm gonna speak something out to you after that. He says, it is only from a religious standpoint. So he's saying that it is only from an economic status point and how we proceed with our trust and our faith. It seems at this time that we differ from a large number of our fellow Americans. We believe in and foster the Muslim religion. Well, the Muslim religion just basically means statehood, creditorship. We foster that everybody is equal, white, pure, free, clean of any debt, right? And in control to contract, right? We believe in the principles of its teachings insofar as they can be adopted to American life. If you read the preamble to the U.S. Constitution, you will find love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice in there. We feel that the Christian religion is all right for those who prefer it. So for all the Moors out there trying to, persecute people for being Christian, you're not even supposed to do that. You're supposed to allow people to be themselves because we're here to learn about tolerance and unity. You can't be out here talking about you have religious rights and at the same time trying to, deprive others of theirs. It's ridiculous. In America, religious freedom is guaranteed all under the Constitution. So Drew Ali is telling us to enforce the U.S. Constitution. For all you Moors out there talking about, no, he's talking about the divine. Of course he's talking about the divine Constitution and bylaws because we're supposed to learn that so that we understand, or at least the children would understand, to convert that into their state, their understanding of their state and how it operates. You dig? We are interested in freeing ourselves and our children from the greatest plight, which is economic slavery. Economic slavery is also known as peonage, forced labor. It is an infringement upon your right to liberty. We believe this can be best done by encouraging, patronizing, and establishing our own business enterprises and cultivating our own acres of land. Did that man just say business? Did he say that the Moor Science Temple of America was empowered to do business? Not teach y'all this boogie woogie? Not to be sitting there, oh, Drew Ali, you ain't telling me nothing? No, we ain't doing all that. He says, we welcome into our folds men and women of our group of all sections, all trades, occupations, and professions of sound mind and good character. So this is how we're supposed to be uplifting fallen humanity, by getting right with the business. We are friends and servants of humanity. So we're not the rulers, right? We're not the masters, right? We're not the enemies of the state. We are dedicated to the purpose of elevating the moral, social, and economic status of our people. So he's telling us he wants to raise our status to that of creditor. We have set about to do this through a wide and comprehensive program embodying the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Where do we find love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice? According to American law. Where do we find that? Right? Because he done told us that this can be adopted, right, into American law. Where is, I'm going to show you. As soon as I find it, I'm going to show you. Where do we find love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice? That is awkward that I can't find. I'm not able. I haven't found. I will. Oh, there we go. Found it. I want to show you. Right? These are the principles, right? All right. So where do we find these principles? Right here. That's where we find them. We found them right in the preamble. We the people of the United States. Oh, I'm not a U.S. citizen. I'm not a U.S. person. We the people of the United States. In order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, promote the general welfare, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty, so that's right here, right? And secure the, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty, because liberty is freedom. It's your business, it's your time and energy. To ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice is in your preamble. And Jarali told us that the Islamic faith can be adopted to American law. And he also keeps telling us to enforce the Constitution that was written for all free national beings, So, let's go ahead, sum it up. That's the first thing. Pro se and pro per really mean the same thing. And pro se is already on the paperwork. It's already a recognized procedure. And if you've ever gone into any type of court as pro se, you'll see that they don't like the fact that you've come in pro se. And they hope that you don't understand how to be pro se. Because when you come in as pro se, you're saying, I have the same power as the prosecutor. And they don't want to see the prosecutor lose. So you could say pro per or whatever, right? But this is already in there. This is common law. Pro se is common law, right? How do we know? Because pro se is the same as prosecutor. The prosecutor comes in on one side, and the individual who does not believe that they are the defendant or that they are in debt has to act as a prosecutor in order to have any standing and make any statement. Remember, the defendant can never talk. So for all of you fighting prosecutor, do what you're going to do. You know what I mean? But understand that this is the way. Like the Mandalorians say, this is the way. All right? Appreciate you all for showing up, showing out. If you missed any part of this session, you can definitely find it, review it, replay it on my YouTube channel. Link in bio. Appreciate you all for coming. Hope to see you again next time. Peace and love. Hope you enjoy.